Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about this awesome game that I really like. It is no secret, if you are a long-time viewer of this channel, that I do in fact think that Zoo Tycoon 2 is the best park builder game of our time. At least for now. Hopefully that will change, but I doubt it. I wanted to talk about one problem that this game has that is kind of getting on my nerves every park I have, and I feel like it's ruining a lot of everybody's you know, fun time with this game. If you do decide to pick it up, this game is around $20 on Amazon with all the expansions you can have, and I recommend this game over, obviously I recommend it over Zoo Tycoon 2017. No wonder. I also recommend it over Jurassic World Evolution, which is what, like $40 to fucking $60 right now. Too expensive. But even games like Parkasaurus, which is it's pretty good, you know. Hopefully the devs will fix it. You know, it's still in early access, whatever. Before I tell you what the one problem with Zoo Tycoon 2 is, in my opinion, I want to talk about why Zoo Tycoon 2 period is just the best park builder right now. What it has over these other games I mentioned. I cannot really talk about too much about Zoo Tycoon 2017, mainly because I haven't tried that game out yet. I don't really want to do it either. But Zoo Tycoon 2017, you cannot design exhibits. Exhibits are similar to buildings where you just, bam, you plonk it down, and then you place the animals inside those like pre-made exhibits. I'm not sure why the developers thought that that would be fun, but that's how they designed the game. Oh, and by the way, Zoo Tycoon 2017 is from the same developers who created Jurassic World Evolution. So there you go. I think Jurassic World Evolution is a bit better game, but my biggest problem with Jurassic World Evolution, at the very beginning of the game, it's actually really fun. If you play on like a hard difficulty like Jurassic, or like hard difficulty in the challenge mode, it's actually very fun. It's actually very hard to make money in Jurassic World Evolution, up until you reach around 1 star, or when you start having your, you know, Ceratosauruses, after which point you make so much money where it basically becomes a chore to keep building dinosaurs, right? Because what Zoo Tycoon 2 and the very beginning of even Jurassic World Evolution does right is, if you don't have much money generation going on, every single animal you buy, depending on your, you know, star rank, is, instead of it being a chore, it's actually a privilege. And I want you to remember that part, because I feel like that's a very apt sentence to describe it. Instead of animals being a privilege, if you make too much money, then it becomes a chore. Now, we discussed that Zoo Tycoon 2 does money generation pretty well, because no matter what star rank you have your park at, right now we have 2.5 stars. We're actually dancing, we are dancing in between 2.5 and 3 stars right now. But even if you have 5 stars, you actually make so little money that at 5 stars, to buy a 5-star animal, you have to work probably for like an hour in the game, like running around, you know, not buying zookeepers, because that saves you a lot of money if you do it yourself, if you replenish food yourselves, if you clean the water yourselves, etc. It takes about an hour to be able to purchase, you know, those 2 5-star animals. And just for your pleasures, guys, I'm actually gonna bring up the Excel spreadsheet. So I have this handy little spreadsheet that has every single Zoo Tycoon 2 animal that you can imagine, ranging from half a star all the way down to 5 stars. And as you can see, the higher rating, star rating an animal has, the more it costs. Before I continue, I want to point out that in Zoo Tycoon 2 Extinct Animals expansion, all the extinct animals, like dinosaurs and like, you know, extinct animals, as I said, extinct animals actually cost more than regular animals. The reason why is because it actually costs you almost no money. It's actually free to make these animals if you have an extinct creation lab. So don't pay attention to these numbers, you know, they don't really count for this argument that I'm about to show you. So when you start the game, you start at half a star, just like in Jurassic World Evolution, for instance. And animals at this rank cost about, you know, $1,250, exactly. That's not a lot of money. Right now we have $28,000, 29. We could probably buy like, at least like, you know, like 20 of them, 20 of these animals, and that's quite a lot. And that's fine. But once we go down to around, we have 3 stars. So let's think about buying 3-star animals, shall we? It makes sense, you know. 3-star park, 3-star animals. But at around 3 stars, every animal costs $10,000, which is around like 8 times. I think it's 8 times as much as, you know, a half-a-star animal would cost. 8 times as much. Right now, this is a lot of money for this level, let me tell you, because I've been doing a couple of challenges. This park that you see here is actually from my video series titled "It's Always Sunny in Ecuador." It's kind of like a, you know, play on words with the Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I really like that show. Whatever. In between episodes, when I'm playing Zoo Tycoon 2, in between episodes, I always spend at least around half an hour because I'm raising money so I can actually do something in the next episode. I can actually buy new animals and I can give you guys a better, you know, episode, better content. In case you wonder if the episodes take part one after the other. Sometimes I have enough money so I can, you know, chain episodes together, but that's what I do. And right now, 30,000 is a lot of money. Like, let me tell you, if you've never played this game, 30,000 at this point is a lot of money. But we can only afford around 2 animals, and maybe like from the last like 10,000 we can build the exhibit. And then all of our money is gone, and this is a lot of money at this point. We can only buy 2 3-star animals, and you should always buy at least 2 animals, because in Zoo Tycoon 2, similarly to Jurassic World Evolution, animals die after a certain age. Except you should breed animals. In this game you can actually breed animals. For instance, these blue marlins, as you can see, have a lot of family members. From the 2 blue marlins that I placed a couple of months ago, we already have 10 of them, because blue marlins are the fastest breeding animal in this game. And there's a reason why I bought them, by the way. I'll show you in a second. So, because animals cost a lot of money, I should probably take this off. I always forget to take that off. Because animals cost a lot of money, you should always buy at least 2 and then keep the bloodline going, so they don't die off and you don't waste a lot of money, you know, buying a pair of new animals. Instead, you can just buy 1. That's why it's more fun to play this game over the other games, because it's harder to make money. Now, what is the one problem? As the title of this video says, what is the one problem with Zoo Tycoon 2? Well, the problem has to do with how you generate zoo fame. So similarly to a lot of other games, a lot of other park games, you go from half a star to 5 stars. Why is it important to reach 5 stars? Well, obviously you unlock new animals and you unlock new buildings. But more importantly than this, than these unlocks, the higher star rating you have in Zoo Tycoon 2, the more guests will come through these zoo gates. So a 5-star park will have many more guests, you know, going around the park than a half-a-star park. And as you can see, we failed the challenge that was about raising money through donations, unfortunately. We were really close. But raising $7,000 in donations in a month is just a bit too steep for us. And from these challenges, you can actually just tell that how much I'm disappointed that we didn't get it, because they would have doubled our donations. And getting 7,000 extra just from a challenge at this point is insane. So again, this is just another point that demonstrates that the game being difficult money generation just makes any park builder game better. Up until a certain point. Obviously, if it's too difficult, then it's just not fun playing anymore, because the whole game is again a chore. But here, challenges actually matter, unlike Jurassic World, where after a while, for a long time actually, as I said, for like the first 1 star, completing challenges in Jurassic World Evolution is actually very, very important, because you get a lot of money. Like, not always, some challenges are bullshit, but a lot of money out of them, most of the times anyways. So yeah, one of the best ways of making money is just ensuring that more guests come into your park. That makes sense, right? More guests. Guests are like running around, like they are money bags running around on two legs. You know, these guests go around here to donate, they buy food, they buy drinks, they buy gifts. And it's very important to have your zoo fame as high as possible, because that means more money coming through your gates, literally, okay? Now, if you go into display zoo fame, don't worry, this looks very, very difficult to understand, to comprehend, but I'll explain it to you. These bars are all what make up your zoo fame. So the reason why we have 3 stars right now is because we have so many of these bars filled in, okay? There are 3 categories, as you can see. There is the animal needs, guest needs, and I don't know why it was titled zoo, but there you go, zoo. Just like any park builder game, you should have a lot of animals. If you want to reach 5 stars, you should have a lot of animals, obviously. There's also a different bar, and this is where the problem with this game is, okay? Now, obviously, if you have 100 gazelles, gazelle being, you know, just a half a star animal, here, 100 gazelles would cost, like 125,000, right? Something like that. Yeah. Now, think about that. Think about this. 100 gazelles. The cost of 100 gazelles is very, very similar to just buying 2 5-star animals that cost, you know, 45 to 50,000. Just 2 of them, not like 10 of them. No, 2 of them equal to 100 half-a-star animals. Now, the problem is that this little bar, number of species, it actually increases by the same amount. It makes sense, right? Because if you have a new species, even if it's half a star, it should increase this number of species by the same amount. But what tends to happen, and I have had many zoos in this game. You can check out a couple of my series. I mean, I have a lot of different types of series. This is just one of them. But I picked up on one single trend that's in every single of my park, okay? At around 4 stars, it's pretty easy to get around 4 stars. Okay, I'm gonna admit it. Making the jump from 4 stars to 5 stars is very, very difficult. And what tends to happen, the way this zoo would look at around 4 stars, all of these bars would be filled in completely, including release to the wild. Release to the wild is very easy to acquire. Once you release around 10 animals to the wild, it does not matter if they're endangered or, you know, low risk. It doesn't matter what animals. And this is why I have these blue marlins, is because they breed like crazy, man. I could already have... Look. Once they... Look, the bar already went up. So, like, it's very, very easy to get 10 animals released to the wild. So don't worry about how little we have of this bar. Like, I just demonstrated you can easily get that up. And it, as you can see, as you can read the sentence, the second sentence of the description under here, it reads, "You won't lose this fame." So it's not like you have to release animals every month. No. It's just 10 your whole park's lifetime. And around, by the time you get around 5 stars, let me tell you, sometimes you release 200 animals, as compared to the 10 animals that needs, you know, to the 10 animals you need to reach the end of this bar. It's crazy. Similarly to release to the wild, some of the challenges, like one of them we just failed, but once you complete around 10 challenges, you fill this bar in as well. Now all of these increase your fame by a little bit. Obviously it's important to keep your guests happy. Entertaining animals means having animals that do stuff. So animals that, you know, like, guests like to see your animals happy when you see these little icons. Some animals are more entertaining than others. Monkeys and elephants can, for instance, paint, which is very entertaining to the guests, so you can get this one up, this entertaining animals bar up. To be honest with you, I had a zoo which one was it? The series where we were unlocking this endangered species conservation breeding center building. That series, I actually had elephants and I had monkeys, and they both had like, you know, they could also paint, they could use, like monkeys can use all sorts of toys. I had everything. And still, these entertaining animals would not go past this, like, maybe like here. So for some reason you can't get this to the max. I don't know why. Now finally, educational habitats is having animals be in the right biome. For instance, this pilot whale and blue marlin, they can be in the same biome because their biomes is pelagic. Pelagic is an ocean biome. These animals live in coastal biomes. So you can increase your educational habitats by placing the animals in the right biome. Also, you can increase it by having educators, and then they talk about the animals or whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is that you can increase this near to the max, you know. And what tends to happen with 4-star zoos, as I've said, all of these bars being filled in almost to the max, and then the number of species lacking behind like half. And the one and only way to get 5 stars at that point, okay, is to buy new species of animals. Now the problem is that if you have a 4-star park, you know, you have like whatever, like 40,000 or whatever money, you are actually encouraged by the game to buy shitty half-a-star animals like a camel. Because animals are happy, you know, educational habitats, entertaining animals are to the max, release to the wild is to the max, guests are super happy. It doesn't matter, all you need is new species. And you are not encouraged, you should be encouraged, if you are a 4-star park, you should be encouraged to buy 4-star animals. Like, where are we? You should be encouraged to buy, you know, the gorilla, the gibbon, red panda, elephant, whatever, triceratops. But no, you should buy like really cheap animals. And you know what's even worse? Because fair enough, okay, 4 stars, I'm gonna buy a camel, I'm gonna place it in an exhibit. But you don't even need to do that, man. Any animal can be put in a crate. Bam. Any of them. Young ones, old ones, doesn't matter. You can actually artificially increase your number of species, this bar up to the max, by literally refreshing this list until you get, you know, all the half-star animals. Getting the really cheap animals. Putting one, buying just one, not 2 of them, okay, 1 of them. Placing it down and then creating them. Like this, you know, you can move them around, whatever. You can leave animals in a crate literally forever. Because in Zoo Tycoon 2, creating an animal doesn't increase, you know, once they're in a crate, it doesn't increase their hunger. It doesn't increase their thirst. They don't become sleepy. And also they can live forever because they don't die of old age. Animals cannot, they don't live. Like when they are in a crate, they technically don't exist. Like they are in a Pokeball or something. Okay? Like quite literally. And that's how you can increase. In one of my series, you know which one, the Autumn Park one. At around 4 stars, I just kept buying just to test it out. I don't like cheating, but just to test it out, I just kept buying, you know, the half-a-star animals, placing them down and then creating them. You know what? In about 5 minutes, once this number of species was near to the max, I just instantly got 5 stars. Just like that. And it really saddens me that you can exploit the game like that. And it's because some of you guys can probably say that, oh, why don't you like mod the game, or why don't you download a mod that makes it so you cannot create animals? And that's not really the problem, because even then, you know, creating an exhibit like zebra is, or like moose is a half-star animal. Creating a simple exhibit for the moose, you know, that's boreal forest. Even just like placing them at the back of the park where nobody can see it, you know, like creating a giant hole and then placing the moose there to live by themselves. Or indeed, this game encourages, I really hate it, but this game encourages giant exhibits where there's a fuck ton of savanna animals in the game. Animals that live in the savanna. And there's also a very large amount of animals that live in the tropical rainforest. So, placing a giant fence and then putting all the herbivores, not even carnivores, just herbivores in the same exhibit, creating giant safari parks is encouraged, but it shouldn't be because it's too easy. Because it's kind of like, it's not cheating, but it might as well be, okay? So even if creating animals would be removed from the game, it doesn't really solve the problem. The problem is that, you know, animals, like this number of species, man, it's just so important. You need to have this number of species up to like probably like 60 or 70% to have a 5-star park, and then over that, to make up for that lack of species, you have to get everything to 100%, you know. You have to play perfectly. And it's so annoying because every single park you have, the optimal way to play Zoo Tycoon 2 is to have the same animals every single park. You gotta buy the mooses, you gotta buy the gazelles, you gotta buy the camels, caribous, buffaloes, peafowls, and it's so annoying because you want to create like diverse parks and you can't really do that, and you're not really encouraged to spend on large animals because the amount that we get out of a 3-star animal at this point is less than what we get out of like 3 different species of half-a-star animals, you know. Because those half-a-star animals, you know, the 3 of them would probably bring in more donations than the 1 species of 3-star animal. And they would artificially increase the number of not artificially, they would increase the number of species by more, which means more zoo fame, and more zoo fame, as I said, means more guests coming into your park, and that's more money. The funny thing is, it doesn't matter. I told you about the leap from 4 stars to 5 stars, but can I be honest with you? Right now, getting, you know, to 3.5, 4 stars, the easiest way to do that would be just to spam the half-a-star animals that I don't have right now. So it's not just at 4 stars that's the problem, it's all the fucking time. You could think of it this way, you could build, you know, the park of your dreams. The best way of doing that would be to play dirty for a little while, get your rating up to 5 stars, play for like an hour at 5 stars, and then you can more easily afford your 3-star animals. I just wanted to share with you this little tip. If you're struggling with reaching, you know, high ranks in the game, high star ratings, you can artificially increase the number of species, but it kind of kills the game for you, I think. At least for me, it does. I like when games are difficult. Hence why I played Zoo Tycoon 2 in 2018, come on. I hope this video was at least informational to you guys. This is actually the second time I had to... Somebody fell into the exhibit again.